Right. So everyone heard that we're being recorded. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. Before we begin, we ask, if you haven't already, please log into 1 Million Cups and click on register or check in, please. And so that 1 Million Cups National knows that we are meeting. For anyone who is brand new to our group, we're excited that you're here. We're excited about the folks who are veterans, but veterans to the group, let alone veterans in America, but to our group. And we relish when new folks join us because new blood is the greatest thing for every organization. So we're thrilled to have you. Across America, there are over 150 chapters of 1 Million Cups meeting typically every Wednesday morning, 8:30, and in today's world of online meetings, perhaps a little later. But in their time zones, Wednesday mornings, everyone's raising coffee cups, 1 million cups, to make 1 Million Cups Foundation a great organization. Tony, flip to the next slide. So, wow, I didn't know this is the next slide, but if everyone will take a quick look and see some upcoming events and related information. You can grab that and then flip to the next slide, please. Go back one, yeah. So our values are very important to us. Today, Kelly will be standing in front of us, exposing herself to us about her business. And so as we comment, suggest, and question what Beyond Lettuce is all about, the need to be safe and supportive is paramount. We are inclusive and diverse. Everyone has a voice, no one can dominate. And of course, respect and consideration is most critical. These are our values, the values of 1 Million Cups as well. But months and months ago, we as a group of volunteers met and put this list together. Next slide, please. There are many ways to participate in 1 Million Cups, and this little diagram says it all. Certainly make sure you're following us on 1 Million Cups. Attend each week. Provide feedback. You can do that through the app, as well as to any of the volunteers, and engage online. We have a Facebook page, Twitter, etc. And make sure you're getting our news. If you're not, please reach out to any of us volunteers, Tony, Donnell, John Rutenberg, John Yu, Laura Drain, Minosha, Justin. I'm probably Jen Dalton. Hopefully I've hit everybody. By the way, the group of volunteers meets every Monday morning to coordinate the events of the next couple of months. And as you'll see, we have a very robust schedule. A little later in the program, we'll show you who'll be presenting over the next couple of months. I really applaud the other volunteers. They do a heck of a job putting this whole thing together. And so when it fails, it's all their fault, clearly. Next slide, please. Where would we be without our sponsors? And even though we can't meet right now at Office Evolution, I'd like to give John Yu a moment to just tell us a little bit about Office Evolution, who's been an amazing sponsor for us. John?
Great, thanks, John. Good morning, everyone. So I'm John Yu with Office Evolution. We are a co-working space provider located right here in Tysons. Hopefully when all all this madness is over, we'll be able to bring everybody together at our space. We provide office space as well as virtual office solutions, such as business address and phone answering service. So you can operate at in your comfort of your home and still have a virtual office presence and continue to practice social distancing. We're locally owned and operated, and we love working with and partnering with 1 Million Cups. Fantastic organization. We also partner with many other business networking organizations in the area to help support small business owners. And lastly, we also partner with service providers like healthcare, health insurance providers, so that our members will be able to purchase health insurance at a group rate versus having to purchase their own. So we do a lot of things, just more than just providing space. So if you want to learn more about what we do and what we're about, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
And next sponsor is Jen Dalton of Brand Mirror, and she's responsible for all the coffee we're drinking at our own homes right now. But if we were together, she would have provided amazing coffee.
Well, is Bruce on the line? I saw him join earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know if Bruce got his coffee. I sent him coffee last week. I will have you know. So I do personal branding for entrepreneurs and executives. Right now, a lot of CEOs and business owners are trying to figure out how do you market right now in a way that's appropriate, authentic, and still keeps you visible. So if that's something you need help with, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to brainstorm. I do complimentary consults. I'm going to put my website in the chat. I also am hosting an event tonight with a few other folks, Lisa Shapiro from DC Fempreneur, and Katie Nelson from Sales Uprising. If you have a YouTube channel and you're trying to get more subscribers and also network and meet some awesome people, please register. I just put the link to that as well in the chat. So you guys have a great day. I love sponsoring this group and, of course, being organized.
Fantastic. And thank you, Jen and John. Next slide, sir. How our virtual meetings will work. First you can, you have a number of icons, I believe sort of under, in your toolbox. If you want to give a reaction, you can do thumbs up, you can applaud, there's a hand waving, you can raise your hand, and you can also chat questions. We'll make sure that we pick them up. Please keep your phones muted when you're not speaking. And then, of course, try to remember to unmute when it is your turn to speak. Next slide, please. Oh, and also say your name and your company when you do ask a question. Great. So we're honored to have as our presenter today Beyond Lettuce. And as most of you know, our format is to present, and Kelly will present her challenge question, and then over the next 7, 8, 9 minutes, give us sufficient background so that we can ask meaningful questions, suggest meaningful ideas, and help Beyond Lettuce grow to its next stage and achieve its goals. So Kelly, we thank you for being willing to present. It takes a lot of guts, and with that, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, John. We are delighted to participate, and we're also super excited that you're able to continue doing it virtually. And I do have to admit, I'm not necessarily complaining about driving to Tyson's at this particular time of morning. So thank you very much for continuing hosting virtually. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. So our challenge question is, who wants to share space with us? And that's not going to make any sense whatsoever until the end, but I like to throw it out there at the beginning so that you'll have time to think about it along the way. Next slide, please. So I'm Kelly Smith. I'm a farmer. My team consists of Peter, who happens to be sitting next to me right now because we're at our farm, Dylan, who takes care of making sure everything gets to where it's supposed to be, and Claire, who is our backbone, who makes sure that everything is running the way it's supposed to be running. All of us have a bunch of cool experience that we picked up along the way, and it's all listed there. You can read it if you like. But we're here because we love what we do, and we like working together. Next slide. Our mission is basically to grow food. What we do is grow food. We grow food, we bring it to people, they eat it, they like it, and then we repeat that process again. We have some favorite customers. Our favorite customers are chefs. Our chefs are the kind of chefs that enjoy something that goes along with a particular story. So they have a story to tell with their food. So they want something with a particular crunch, they want something with a particular color, they want something with a particular flavor profile. So they tell us what they're looking for, and we find it, we grow it, and we get it to them. At this particular time, we have fewer of those customers than we like. So we had to switch to targeting individuals, which we weren't doing before. We were strictly commercial operation. But now that our commercial customers aren't able to purchase at the moment, we started targeting, started with my friends and family. I got some stuff, I need to sell it, I don't want it to go to waste, who wants some? And everybody that liked it got some more the next week. But after we started playing around for a little while and taking a look at the marketplace, we started looking at the type of customers that would really like what we have. And those are fit, healthy, athletic, the customer that already knows what they want, the nutritional value of the food that they eat, and they're already sort of educated on the food that they love. Next slide. So this is all Peter's territory. Normally, I would have Peter do the presentation because he's so much better at it, and I don't like cameras, but Donnell told me that I wasn't allowed to have Peter do the presentation for me, so there's a bunch of really cool, pretty words and stuff. Our produce is really awesome because we love what we grow. We actually take the time to find out what people want before we grow it. Our approach is not necessarily to grow some stuff and try to talk you into eating it. We actually find out what you want to eat, and that's what we grow. Our stuff is awesome because it's amazing, and those of you who have tried it, know that it's amazing. And those of you who haven't tried it, just give me a call because I'll bring you some. I've got delivery schedule available on Thursday, and next week we have a few slots on Tuesday and Thursday. So just send me your address and I'll bring you some stuff. Next slide. Yeah, this is all Peter's stuff too. So Peter is head of operations. He handles what we grow, when we grow, what our production schedule is. My job, it says boss on my shirt. So that means I get to run around and make sure everybody on the team has what they need. Next slide. All right, so our challenge is production space. We have maxed out our current growing space. We grow what we can grow in the space that we have. We have a really efficient growing process and we use our space well, but we are actually looking to grow a little more and grow different types of product that requires different space requirements. Our ideal space would actually be within another complementary business. So like a restaurant, cafe, a brewery, maybe like one of those food court places like the Block, or what, Union Kitchen, is that the other one? One of those that have like multiple restaurants in the same space. That would be like super awesome. We don't consider ourselves a standalone business. We consider ourselves a part of a larger infrastructure. We are part of a team of businesses that collaborate. So our restaurant partners, our chefs, even our individuals, they let us know what they're looking for and we adapt accordingly. We would really love to have a space where we have constant interaction and feedback, either from professional food people or even people in like the athletic world, health world, where we can get immediate feedback on the products that we have, the products that they want, and where we want to go from there. And that's pretty much my presentation.
Well, thank you very much. And everyone unmute and applaud. So
Thank
Don't
you.
unmute.
absolutely. Thank you, Kelly. So here is the challenge question. I'm excited to turn it over to Tony Barnett, who will now moderate our Q&A period.
Okay, Kelly, you did a fantastic job. Donnell was right. You were the right one from the beginning. So as John mentioned before, we'll control the Q&A. Raise your hand when you have a question. If your hand isn't raising, you can always put a comment in the chat to me, and I'll sit there and make sure that you get a chance to talk. And our first question is coming from Reggie Holmes. So Reggie, you are now on the microphone.
Good morning. Great presentation. I'm Reggie Holmes with Enthuse Creative. I wanted to suggest a place like the St. James, which is over in Springfield. It's a massive athletics complex, but they also have some dining establishments there. And, are just committed to overall holistic wellness. So I know that they have a lot of space. I'm not sure how much of it is available, but that would be a great fit for the work that you want to do and how you want to grow.
Thank you, Reggie. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I have some connections there, so I can put you in touch with someone there.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, Henry has a question, and you're on.
So Kelly, thank you so much. This is really awesome presentation. You look like the right boss for this. My initial question is, how much space are you looking to share or co-share with another restaurant or business?
Ideally, be like 1,000 square feet.
1,000 square feet, okay.
But it doesn't have to be a square. Like we can work around unusual shapes. We were in talks with a brewery at one point who had in DC that had like a very unusual space that they couldn't use, and we went in and we had fun really trying to like figure out how to grow in that space, and those are challenges that we enjoy. So 1,000 square feet total. It can be broken up into different spaces, different sections, hallways. We can work with unusual spaces, and COVID-19 hit, and that brewery is still under construction and not open yet, but we also like to stay in Virginia if all possible. We are Virginia people, and so we want to stay in Virginia, and but we're not opposed to going to DC. We probably could still if the space was amazing.
Okay, and secondly, is your growing vertical, or is it always going to be horizontal?
No, we have multiple systems. So
okay.
we grow in a system that works best for that particular product. So
okay.
currently we have microgreens, which are horizontal, but also behind us you can see we have tomatoes in Dutch buckets, and over here we actually have an aeroponics system. So those are all three completely different systems that we have even right now. And then we have some other stuff too that's top secret that we'll tell you about later.
And what is the minimum amount of space that you could start working with?
Probably, we could work with 800 square feet, but we ideally will outgrow that pretty quickly. So we would rather stay at 1,000 square feet because that'll last us a little while. And then after, a few years there, then we can move to, then we'd like to target like 3,500 square feet.
Okay. I have some ideas, but I want to discuss that offline with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we've got several people with their hands up, but I want to just inject one thing real quick, Kelly. You need to have a place that's temperature controlled, so you can't really necessarily do it in like a garage, like a big vehicle garage, right? Unless it has.
No, we can. We would prefer not to, but we can actually work with a garage.
Okay.
we have tech backgrounds too, and we're a little bit of like DIY nerds. And so we can actually work with spaces like that. So if we had to, so heat is an issue, and we would need some type of air conditioning system, but we are accustomed to solving those problems.
Okay. All right. So next up with her hand up is Deb Cohen. And Deb, you are on.
Good morning, everybody. You mentioned a brewery that you were working with in DC. There's a brewery out in Chantilly called Ono Brewery, and it is, in fact, veteran-owned and veteran-run. And they, I know that they partner with a food distribution folks. Inside it's sort of it's a brewery, but you can sit down and have your meal and drink your beer from a spigot, and they have different kinds. And they do lots of partnering. So I don't know if they have the space, but I think they would absolutely be open to partnering. And I have a connection there. If you're interested, I'd be happy to make that for you.
Absolutely. Even if we can't grow there, we'll work with them in some way.
Yeah.
Or, eat there on a regular basis.
Yep.
That's kind of one of the reasons we do what we do, is because we like eating good food all the time.
And drinking good beer, I assume.
Okay. Next up is Rosemarie Savino. Rosemarie, you're up.
Hi guys, great presentation. I love what you're doing. I have a question for you. Have you connected with the Master Gardeners of Virginia organization?
I actually have talked with them a little bit, not on any like regular basis, but I actually did a tour of the DC water treatment facility with them, and that was fantastic. If you haven't been there, try to take that tour, especially if you like science in any way. That is a fantastic space. So I don't have like a regular relationship with them, but I have talked with them.
Okay.
So the Master Gardeners, fantastic group of people, totally different growing methods and totally different product.
Yes, I understand, but because they're connected to, I believe it's UVA, which is a land-grant university, they are required to be in the community. And so for example, where I live, they work out of a community center here, which has space. They are accustomed to giving people tours, which gives you the visibility. It might be worth it to talk with the MGVA, I think it's called, to see where they have space that you can partner with them, because it's complementary. I never expected you to overlap, but it's complementary, and you can add something onto what they do, which is land management.
Thank you. Yes.
So that's an idea for you to do that. They're also in, and this is another idea I had. I know you want to work with, and I thought, Reggie, your idea of the St. James was a great idea, but have you guys considered finding a school, working within the construct of a school, and then getting like E-rate has changed significantly. So that's a federal program that gives schools money for operating budgets. They've taken out a lot of what they used to cover, but the money's still there for other things. They may, especially in food deserts, they may be able to utilize you guys for supplementing what they get out of cans. So that's an idea too.
Thank you. That's awesome. That's actually how Peter and I met.
Yep.
So Peter and I we're both family people. We have munchkins, and we met because Peter actually builds aeroponic systems for elementary schools.
Oh,
and
awesome.
That's how we ended up joining forces in the first place.
Very cool.
That is fantastic. I am definitely working on that longer term. Once we get our current production stable, that's definitely an area that we're looking into. Thank you so much.
I love what you guys are doing. Rock on.
Thank you.
All right. Now, here's the guy I knew was going to have lots of questions on this session. And we're going to John Foster. So, John, you are not unmuting. Hold on. Why is John not unmuting?
I'll do it.
There we go.
Tony.
He's on mute. All right, there we go.
Kelly, it is so good to see you again.
Hi, John.
And wonderful presentation, Kelly. And forgive me for, I can't remember, we talked about being organic. Are you guys organic?
We are not certified organic.
Okay.
All of our seed is organic. We buy organic seed.
Yep.
And we do use what we consider better than organic growing methods. but we are currently don't have a solid plan to get certified at this time.
Okay. All right. But I would like to, we'll need to reconnect again because I've got some ideas that relative to what we're doing at the restaurant that potentially could have, an impact. So I just want to follow up with you. I want to say hello and,
Thank you,
this
John.
is awesome. And,
Fantastic to talk to you.
and I also wanted to just thank the organizers of 1 Million Cups. Really appreciate what you guys do.
Yes.
Thank you, John. All right, now Jen had a question. So Jen, you are off mute, or at least you should be. There you go.
Thank you. So Kelly, great presentation. I was curious if you're working with Arcadia at all or with 4P Foods.
Yeah, Pam's great people. We love that organization quite a bit.
Okay. And what are some of the top produce items you're selling? And just if you can remind me, who are the top customers you need right now? Is space the most important thing, or if you were gonna do any partnerships, like who are the top sort of 3 groups you want to work with? And I'm also asking because I'd love to just buy and support individually. I just don't know if that's a place you're in yet.
Mm-hmm. So first question is, like, we love Arcadia Farms, and we actually are in discussion with them about adding a hydroponic component to their school, to their veteran school. And so we've, that talk has slowed down because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but, once things are, somewhat back to normal, maybe, we'll probably pick those discussions back up again. And then also our target customers, chefs who are looking for particular products that they can't find on a regular basis. So we originally started because we were half of our friends are chefs, and we were always talking about, what's hard to find, what do you wish you had more often? They find these really cool stuff at farmers markets, and then they're available for a few weeks, and then they don't see them again, and they'd like to have them more regularly. Maybe they fall in love with something and they want to get it again, or they'll find a good organic farmer, and it's great for a few months, but then the consistency that a restaurant needs wasn't quite there. And because our specialty was growing indoors, we can actually solve that problem for them. For individuals, we like the already sort of fit, healthy, nutritious, conscious customer. So, not to make fun of, but like the CrossFit guys that are on there, they're counting their protein and the athletes or former athletes that are still taking care of their bodies, and they know exactly what they want to eat, and they have a high standard for nutritional value. Like, those are our favorite customers, and they're the ones who are going to be our regulars that regularly get deliveries to their house. That being said, if you want something that we have, I will bring it to you, and if you want it again, I'll bring it to you again. Like, we're not going to turn anybody away. If we would very much like for just about everybody to not be able to live without our products.
Okay, awesome. So David Hilson, you have a question, and if you can, I can't see you on the screen, so if you can go ahead and unmute yourself and go ahead and ask.
I put it in the chat group, and it's nice to see everyone, and great job on the presentation and the product. My comment was just about the National Restaurant Association. I don't know if it sounds like, some of the comments have been a little bit more granular. The National Restaurant Association is obviously based here in the area. Mm-hmm. I happen to have some access points there. So I didn't know if that was at least a group that you're talking to relative to finding more partners.
That's one of those, yes, we really want those connections, but we're also not quite ready for regular restaurant business just yet. Like, yep. Our space is very limited, and especially once we switched our product over, individuals, it's a different package, it's a different product, it's a different space requirement. So we had to, adjust our space to sell to individuals versus, the box that we deliver produce into a restaurant is different than the box that we deliver to, a home. And so we're not, until we move into our bigger space, we're not quite ready to go straight back to only commercial clients at the moment. So we want to move into that new space first. And then, I mean, I'm more than willing to like start developing relationships and bring samples and make sure people fall in love with our stuff, but we won't be able to take on those orders yet until after we move.
Okay, great. And Manifa, you have a question? Go ahead, you're unmuted.
Good morning. Hi, Kelly.
Good morning. It's always great to hear from you.
Oh, thank you. I do not have a question, but I just want to let everybody know that as an entrepreneur, I am working from home, of course. And before I was gorging on a lot of unhealthy foods, I want to thank you and Beyond Lettuce because I have tried your products. I put them in my foods, and during the day, I just cut and snack on them. And I just really have been feeling as I go on that I have energy and I can go throughout the day without weighing myself down. Plus, they are spectacular. If anybody wants to try the spicy greens or the radishes, I think right now those are my favorite. I want to try all of them, but if you are working from home, this is one of the best snacks you can ever have as you keep clipping and working, and it is just delightful. So I will be ordering again and again and again. And just thank you for, I know you're finding new ways, but for myself, finding other ways to be healthier throughout the day right now. So I thank you for that.
For those of you that can actually like see my video right now, I'll just hold up some of the microgreens that Monifa was talking about. And thank you very much, Monifa. You're a fantastic fan. And
Kelly,
you know,
I think, yeah, if you want, all right, so you can actually just put it in front of your screen. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
So microgreens, we actually deliver them still alive. So this little mat that you see underneath is a hemp mat. And so when we deliver that, it's not pre-cut, like in a box like you would get from a grocery store, so that when you purchase this and you put it, we'll tell you how to like maintain it and take care of it. It will stay alive and keep growing until you eat it. So the idea is to get you hooked on them, just like Monifa said, so that as you're walking by, that's literally how I eat them as well. I've always got some in my kitchen, and I walk by and grab some and eat them and snack on them, toss them on top of whatever I prepare, whether it's a smoothie, whether it's a sandwich, my eggs, you know, whatever, stir fry. I throw a handful of the broccoli microgreens in my spaghetti sauce. My kids never know the difference. They don't know they're eating extra broccoli. And also, I'll take this opportunity to announce we're also starting a new, instead of, right now on our website, the microgreens is the only product that you can purchase, but we are working on a CSA style box where you can buy a box. It has a bunch of different stuff in it, like some microgreens and some other stuff too. So we've got some arugula cooking. Can't know if you can see that. It's harder to show off than the microgreens. We've got cabbage. And these are all grown indoors. These particular ones are hydroponic. We're not strictly a hydroponic facility. We do have some things that we will grow with soil-based systems as well. Again, we are experts on multiple systems. We specialize on growing indoors, and we try to create the best possible environment for whatever product we're developing. Especially once we move into a bigger space, we'll be able to, if there's a particular flavor profile you're looking for, if you want things a little more spicy, if you want things a little more sweet, you know, we have the ways to like make that something that you can just find by asking.
Cool. All right, Kelly. Next up, Steve Goad has a question. So Steve, if you could go ahead and unmute, because I don't see you on my screen.
Yeah, I've gone ahead and unmuted. I don't know if Kelly, if you can see my background screen, needless to say, that all that aluminum foil back there, I'm one of these home hydroponic people. So I've got 2 towers on the outside from Vertigrow, and I'm also doing the Karake system back there for romaine. Nice. and I don't do the other stuff. I do veggies. So I'm into that. Question I have 2 questions for you. One, how did you get started in this? You know, this is just phenomenal. It's a great presentation, but this did not happen overnight, I don't think.
So I have a son who's 8 years old now, but had a lot of problems with food as when he was a toddler. And after a lot of work and elimination diet, messing around, and work with nutritionists and doctors, we eventually found out that he couldn't eat wheat. And so for a 4-year-old
Mm-hmm.
to not be able to eat wheat, it's a lot of food that get eliminated from the diet. So I originally started growing my own food for that purpose. I was already sort of interested in hydroponics and running groups and running for fun. Like I was doing like that for a hobby level. But once my son couldn't eat wheat, and I literally just didn't buy any processed food at all, because there's wheat and flour and a lot of things, like so many different things. And so it just became easier just to buy my own stuff and cook my own stuff and experiment, grow, and then it gets addictive, as Steve probably knows for sure. Once you start growing something and it gets fun, it gets addictive, and then you get another one, and then you get another one. And then I decided at some point, I don't know how many years later, of teaching classes and Dylan and I playing around with different projects, I decided that's all I wanted to do.
Well, I've got more pictures of lettuce than my grandchildren. It's sad but true. What I should have done, sorry about the rules, the coordinator here. I'm with the ODU Institute for Innovation Entrepreneurship down here in Norfolk, Virginia. I just also dropped you a quick note. I don't know if you picked it up. If we could do a sideline, I'd like to introduce you to one of our botanists down here. She's considering a project to enable our local strawberry farmers to actually produce strawberries year round using Conex boxes. So I'd like to, if you're interested, I would like to connect you with her, because she's got a formula she thinks will make strawberries bigger and better, kind of a thing. But again, that's one of those things. And if you
share clippings,
what's that?
Is she willing to share cuttings?
I don't know how far she was. She had some great plans up until recently, where needless to say, she lost all of her graduate students. And we call free labor. So she lost all that. So we've been connecting. She's been watching on LinkedIn when I pop up one of my veggies, like "Go Steve, go!" But that kind of thing. But I would like to go ahead and connect you two, if we could.
Yes, please. That would be fabulous. Like I'm already thinking of field trip day. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. Too bad you're not down in Norfolk. I got a place in downtown Norfolk. It's got like 24,000 square feet of space. But that's interesting. Not there, right point.
We'll come visit, and we'll definitely friends. Like Dylan is a professional driver, so like anytime we need to go somewhere, it's not unheard of for us to go up to Pennsylvania or North Carolina or even South Carolina.
Yeah, we have space, and we have a very, very vibrant regrowth of the downtown Norfolk area. A lot of little restaurants down there, of course, been hit very hard right now. But those things, I'd like to connect you with some of the people down here for future expansion as you move forward with your empire. But
thank you.
Again, thank you very much. It's a great presentation. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, thank you. So now we're going to go to Jeff Englander, who has been very patient. And Jeff, you are unmuted, so go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Tony. Kelly, great presentation. Awesome job. I'm also in my basement, but I'm not growing anything. But the good news is this, is that I put in the chat one of my favorite restaurants, which is the Silver Diner, and they pride themselves on sourcing from 15 or 20 or so local farmers. Their chief chef is one of their founders, but also too is he may know of space, because he's always looking for real estate for new restaurants. He may know some. I would strongly recommend you reach out to him, because I'm sure he'd be receptive to you. And also too, the fact that given your design, your whole business model, I think he will do some business with you, because I think most of his farmers are people who work the land as opposed to how you're farming. So if you can provide, great strawberries, I'm already really hungry for strawberries right now. If that idea pans out, but also all those other things, I'm sure he would love to talk. So that was just my comment. Now I'll end there. Thanks, Tony.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I think last time I checked, there was a new one going up on King Street that hasn't been finished yet. That might be a good place for me to go start talking.
They're headquartered out of Rockville, and I'm sure that's where his offices are. I would strongly recommend you visiting him. If nothing else, he can probably share some real estate ideas for you, but hopefully he'll become a customer.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Kelly, once again, I'm jumping in with a quick question because I don't see anybody with a current question on my with their hands waving yet. My question is this: is it suitable for rooftops? Can you put it? Can your system go on building rooftops, or is that just too windy and too high a risk?
No, actually. So our particular specialty right now is indoors because we like the control that gives us. But our background is urban farming, and so if we had access to a rooftop and that was the space that we had to work with and it worked really well for whatever reason, then we would adapt our system to that space. But rooftop gardens are awesome. Like, I love them. They're fantastic. I think they should be everywhere.
Well, the reason I'm asking is that there's tons of real estate in Northern Virginia, but the one piece of real estate no one's touching are the rooftops on these buildings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the office space is premium, but they're not doing anything with the rooftops. And, that would be, I thought, an idea. Anyway, so you have a couple people who are in the chat room who are asking questions, and that next one is Mario Lopez Gomez. So Mario, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, Kelly. Good presentation. Love it.
Thank you.
I have thanks to Tony here a few years back. He was the guy that put Bill Kimball, the CEO of Cyber Defense Technologies, and myself, to basically teach a class on cybersecurity related to the small business.
Mm-hmm.
And so and this was under the umbrella of the regional Tyson's Chamber of Commerce.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is there anything related to cybersecurity that keeps you up at night? And by the way, I have a handout that I can send you so you can keep it as a resource.
Thank you. That's an excellent question. And unfortunately, my farmer brain needs time to switch to that space. I have a little bit of an older regimen. I have to think about that. Like, if that's something that I don't think that we have really had that conversation yet. So thank you. I'm going to have that conversation now, and then let you know how it goes.
Great. I'll send you the handout.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I will read it.
Okay, thank you, Mario. And we have a question from Nancy Wyatt. So if you can go ahead and unmute yourself, Nancy. Nancy?
I'm sorry, my unmute had disappeared. I have a couple of things. Back to the Master Gardener concept. I am a Master Gardener. They're also out in near the Museum of the Shenandoah, and that is right next to the huge hospital complexes. I don't know if the hospital complexes might be like a statewide thing that you want to hook into, because they obviously have to stay alive during this time.
Mm-hmm.
But my original questions were just minor, like for individuals while you're still dealing with individuals.
Mm-hmm.
I live like near Front Royal, which is too far for you to deliver. So I want to know if you have the capability of shipping things, and whether the recipients, no matter who they are, need like the proper lighting to keep and hydroponic systems to keep those things alive before they're eaten.
So we don't ship currently, but we actually have really good friends that live in Front Royal. We're there at least once a month. So if you want some stuff, I'll get some to you. We'll make arrangements for you, because I can actually do several deliveries at the same time on the same day.
Cool. And if I bought a lot, would I need lighting and humidity controls?
So our product is meant for immediate consumption. And so even though it is grown hydroponically, especially the microgreens, you can set them out on your table. You can keep them in the fridge. You can put them in front of a window, but they'll actually be fine even in your kitchen. So as long as you don't give them too much water or let them dry out, they'll actually be fine because they're young enough plants not to require a whole lot of light. And they're also, I mean, they like some and they will lean if they're to try to find light, but you can eat them like that. I mean, you know, just because it leans one way doesn't mean it doesn't taste, you know, bad. So they will adapt to your conditions, but mostly all you really need is for it to be not too hot and don't dry out and don't get too wet. So it has to be damp, but not wet.
Okay, among other things, I'm a holistic healer, so I love what you're doing. Thank you guys for living and being our future.
Thank you. We like to eat too.
Absolutely.
It's good motivation.
All right, Jen, I think you had a comment you wanted to make.
Just a couple of thoughts based on all of the conversation here. I would recommend adding an FAQ to your website because I think a lot of people have questions and it wouldn't be too hard. You could even just start with some of the questions we asked. But I think that would be fabulous. I love the idea of the CSA bag, but I can't wait. So I already ordered some greens. So too bad. But I will order that too once it shows up. I think there are also a lot of things you could do here just right now since everyone's at home. A lot of people are also trying to take care of their customers. So I would think about, I mentioned gift cards in the chat, but also if I purchase one, can I just directly send it to someone? And I think you can do that, but I would make sure that's really clear for like ideas for how you can, you know, stay in touch, especially if you're a health coach or if you just have a client who's very healthy and you want to, you know, send them something to let them know you're thinking about them. Now would be a good time to do this.
That's great advice. Thank you so much. I'm going to add that to my to-do list for like this week.
For sure.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Jen. Looking to see if there's, let's see, Sheila has a question. So Sheila Dixon, go ahead and jump on.
Thank you. Hey, Kelly, this was really great. I was really excited to hear about the presentation. I'm actually doing some changing nutrition in my own household because we have a couple of different needs. So I definitely love to touch base with you on that. But have you tried reaching out to some of the local adult living communities to see if they may be interested in, you know, working with you? Because a lot of the active adults would like to still do things. And so maybe this could be a possibility to just help them along.
That's an excellent idea. It's not something I considered before. So yeah, that is fantastic. I'm gonna add that to my to be noodled later. Thank you.
Great, and I can connect you to Steve Gurney. He works with a lot of the retirement living communities. So you can talk with him directly to see which facilities might best fit for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. And then John Foster, you're back with another question. And for some reason, it doesn't let me unmute you. So go ahead.
I got it. Thanks, Tony. Kelly, I was just sitting here. I was thinking about, well, two things. One is because I teach LinkedIn, I love LinkedIn. You may want to think about your company page on LinkedIn and just developing that out a little bit more. And then the other line, along that corporate line, especially right now with things, I'll say as quiet as they are from a business standpoint. Do you know you know Fruit Movement?
Fruit Movement.
Yeah, they were I don't know where the status now, but they are delivering fruit to corporations. And so I'm just thinking about as an idea to be for people for delivering microgreens potentially to companies for their employees to take home.
We actually did start something like that. We were doing test runs well, my husband actually works for Walmart Labs in Reston.
Yep.
So, and they just, you know, through him, I started doing deliveries to their office. Because it's a large group of people all in one space.
Yep.
And then COVID-19 hit and everybody had to work from home. So we had just started looking into that.
Okay.
So yes, absolutely. It's fantastic. And I think that is a great untapped source for us.
Right. So just thinking about that, you know, from a business standpoint, getting more visibility on LinkedIn, you know, just from the business demographic, and to start to build that social media presence there. So once this thing kind of normalizes, you'll be in a good spot to move on that.
Thank you. That's excellent advice. We do know that we're a little late to the social media game, and we are working on it. And Danelle has also given us fantastic advice in that department. And so we are steadily improving that over time. And LinkedIn is definitely a way that I keep in contact with a lot of people. And so I'll put a little bit more effort into our business presence instead of just using it as a chat tool. So thank you very much. I really appreciate that advice.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for some fantastic questions. As is our normal procedure, we direct the final call of the day to the illustrious Donnell Johns. So Mr. Johns, if you could please offer your final question.
Kelly, number one, fantastic presentation. You're absolutely amazing. The one thing that she didn't mention is she is an Army veteran. She's a part of my organization and our veteran business pop-up, and she is a huge connector and communicator throughout the entire organization. The other thing I want to say about her is I am addicted to her greens, and so is my wife. In fact, my wife just hit me up yesterday and was like, just because you're out of town doesn't mean that I don't need the greens. So thank you so much for providing us that and getting us addicted to something that's healthy.
Excellent.
Let me get to my question. And my question is what can we as the 1 Million Cups community do for you? And how can we help you out grow your brand?
I really, really value the feedback that I get from this organization. So if I will bring every single one of you samples and, and having the feedback on what you like, what if it was hard to keep alive, if you prefer a different packaging, like that type of feedback is extremely valuable to us. And having a group that I can just, tap into on a regular basis to say, hey, what do you think about this? Or, hey, I'm trying something new. Would you like to give it a try? To me, that is extremely valuable.
No, thank you, Kelly. You're amazing. Continue to keep up the great work. Your product is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
So guys, it's back to me. We have just under 7 minutes, and Tony has appropriately put up the presenter schedule. I believe actually May 27th is now booked also with Martin's Law Firm. But as you can see, next week, Mary Smith will present. I saw Mary earlier. She's somewhere among the 30 people. But we are booked straight through June 10th at this point, which is very exciting. At the same time, one of the pressures we always feel is we need more presenters. So if you're so inclined to be as gutsy as Kelly, right? It wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't. It was fantastic.
Kelly, when we're all together, people throw things at you. I was going to suggest tomatoes, but it wouldn't be appropriate today, given what you produce.
I mean, I've got some.
There you go. I sent you a chat, or everyone. Mayosha Mendez is one of our volunteers, and she runs pre and post school programming. I don't know what they're doing now, but when I spoke to her, she had moved into a new space and actually might have some space available. So that's someone to reach out to.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. Hey, this was really great. I think we're pretty lucky we have 30 people on this call.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yup. And that makes us strong. So to each of you, you deserve a round of applause. To each of you, you get a lot of credit for making 1 Million Cups the awesome organization that it is. I believe we may be at the last slide. Am I correct? Because without slides, I wouldn't know what to say. But in a most serious way,
That was the last slide, John.
Thank you.
And I have to pop off now. So
Yes,
have a
sir.
great day, everybody. See you next week.
Tony.
Do we have, I just wanted to mention to everyone, we have a veteran business pop-up where you can see Kelly. She's one of our sponsors as well.
Mm-hmm.
Go to veteransgrowamerica.com, and I'm also going to put a link to the event in the chats. And so copy that link and register and get your ticket to come out to visit other veterans that have a product or a service just as fantastic as Kelly. So we hope to see you guys Saturday, May 2nd at the Veteran Business Pop-Up from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You don't have to go there in person. It's actually a virtual event online that is going to be absolutely amazing. So we hope to see everyone there.
We're going to be doing cooking demos also. We have chefs who are actually going to be doing cooking demos with the product. So don't miss it. Be there.
Yeah. Donnell, what was that link again?
Go to veteransgrowamerica.com or find us on Facebook at Veterans Grow America.
Okay. Yeah, you know anybody, you know the people down at our VBOC down here?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm with that same organization.
Nice.
Right.
Hey, John, this is Jen. Just real quick for folks who are attending, we have captured the chat notes. We will send it out to the folks who attended the meeting live. And starting next week, we'll push out a registration reminder with a link for the meeting just to make sure that you've got it.
That's great. Does anyone else have an event that they would like to publicize before we end? I see Rosemarie. Please unmute.
Thanks, John. Rosemary Savino, COO of Gravitate. Thrilled to power this wonderful organization. Anyone who's interested, today is Wednesday. I run my weekly webinar. If you'd like to learn more about Gravitate, just let me know. I'm happy to give you the registration details. In fact, I'll put them in the chat. Noon.
Thank you, Rosemarie. And John Foster had a hand raised.
Yes, thank you. Real quick, just want to let everybody know that every Tuesday night, Career Network Ministry has online things for people who are looking for work. So if you know anybody who needs job resources, we're there every Tuesday night. You can find us on meetup.com, and that's Career Network Ministry.
Okay, this is Steve. I have one other thing. We have down at Old Dominion University, we've got a couple of programs that are focused on entrepreneurs that have ideas that help maritime industry along that in that area and block. And so there are actually programs to help. And so if you have any entrepreneurs up in your area, I don't know, I'll go ahead and get out my email. It's HGOAD at odu.edu. So if you got anybody who's interested in maritime logistics or anything like that, or entrepreneurs, we have some programs that are literally working with these people to help them to commercialize their ideas into the sector.
Thank you, Steve. Anyone else have one last word?
Hi, on the phone. My name's Phyllis Simon. How are you guys today?
Good.
I'm with Simon Law, PLLC. In 2 weeks, on May 6th, I'm going to be holding a trademark application workshop through DC Fempreneur. And I'm going to be walking people through the trademark process, like how to log on to the trademark office and how to fill out the application. So if anyone's interested, you can find all the information on DC Fempreneur. I'm not sure it's up quite yet, but it'll be up soon. Thanks.
So every week, I'm absolutely amazed by the comments, the questions, and the entrepreneurial spirit of the 29 other people in our meetings. The uniqueness of the American spirit is something we all need to be proud of as we move forward. Kelly, your team is amazing. Thank you so much for putting this together and showing us the way. So to everyone, thank you very, very much. Please always check out A Million Cups. Consider presenting to us. We need presenters. Consider becoming a volunteer. Just think, you could be the master of ceremonies. Wouldn't that be nice? So everyone be safe and sound and healthy. And again, thank you to everyone for being here today. You're the best.
I have one last question.
Sure.
My Bunker Labs coffee cup is pretty decent coffee cup, but I was really looking forward to that really coveted 1 million cups coffee cup. Do you know
Yes.
how I get one?
Well, you deliver to my house, you can have mine, but I'm in Maryland. But no, we were remiss. We have to figure out the virtual presentation of the coffee cups, and we will improve because of you, Kelly. Thank you.
Thank you, because it is coveted, and I am looking forward to getting mine.
I'm sure
Luckily,
you
you know
will.
me, you will get it too.
I'm sure we have a volunteer who's in charge of coffee cup distribution. If not, we'll have a meeting over it.
I'll make sure you get one, Kelly.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Guys, thank you so much for being part of A Million Cups. You're awesome. We'll talk soon.